Coming up on NTC News, the football team is headed to Detroit for the MAC championship matchup. We'll update you on their road to the title game.
The marching band is on the move. Find out what changes are in store for this group.
And what you can do to help people in need. NTC News starts now.
You're watching NTC News, DeKalb County's only television news source, on the campus of Northern Illinois University and from the Northern Television Center. This is NTC News Tonight.
Hello, I'm Crystal Termini. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Martin Sotello. It's Thursday, November 29. Police
are looking for 2 suspects in an off-campus aggravated battery that took place early this morning. Authorities say that 2 white men entered the victim's home and attacked him at knife point. It happened just before 10 a.m. in the 800 block of Charles Street. The suspects fled on foot, and police are telling people to be careful and be on the lookout.
NIU football will be in action tomorrow when they take on the University of New York at Buffalo for the Mid-American Conference Championship game. The team's 6-2 conference record was enough to clinch the West Division of the MAC, setting them up for a showdown at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan against the 10-win Buffalo Bills from the East. Now, despite losing their last 2 games, the Huskies will try to win their 4th title in 7 years while the Bulls look to end their 10-year championship drought. For those of you who want details on a fan bus to the game, you can find all of that information at the athletic department's website. Head coach Rod Carey and the team are looking forward to the opportunity.
It's going to be a big challenge for us, and we certainly have to dot our I's and cross our T's on everything we do here this week. But we are excited about it. We know we've earned it.
Coach Carey and the team are already in Detroit for the big game. NTC reporter Tom Burton updates us on the road to the MAC championship.
Your NIU football team is headed to the Mid-American Conference Championship game for the first time since 2015 after finishing with a 7-5 overall record and 6-2 in the Mid-American Conference. They've seen success on both sides of the football this season, but let's take a look at how they got to this point. Through the first 2 games of the season, the offensive struggles were evident as quarterback Marcus Childers had a hard time getting it going to start the season.
We need him to play even better. The standard around here for quarterbacks is high. He has not met that standard yet.
After 2 non-conference losses to begin the season, Week 3 rolls around as Central Michigan comes to town for the season's first MAC matchup. Childers had his breakout game of the year with 3 touchdowns to 3 different receivers. Huskies get their first win of the year, 24-16. After a loss to Florida State in Week 4, Week 5 and 6 resumed MAC play with 2 road games against Eastern Michigan and Ball State. The Huskies and Eagles were neck and neck before running back Trey Harbison runs it in for the overtime victory. Down the road in Muncie, Indiana for Week 6, the Huskies reclaimed the Bronze Stalk Trophy for the 10th consecutive season behind a big 130-yard game from running back Marcus Jones. Huskies improved to 3-0 in conference play. Following a boneyard victory against BYU, Week 10 against Toledo appeared to be the week where everything came together as NIU comes up with 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 from Marcus Childers. The defense did its job and came up with 5 sacks in the game. Huskies win 38-15. Head coach Rod Carey knows that winning and playing at a championship level takes a team effort.
You know, we got to get back in there and go to work. That's the only way that we know how to do it, and we'll do it together. And what I love about this team is, you know, defense was still rooting for the offense, trying to pick them up, and you know, the offense was trying, and there's not finger pointing going on.
NIU's most recent appearance at Ford Field was the 2017 Quick Lane Bowl, where they lost to Duke 36-14. Kickoff against Buffalo is set for 6 p.m. on Friday.
The Huskies are already eligible for a postseason bowl game.
The Husky Marching Band is relocating from the College of Visual Arts to the Athletics Department. The relocation will begin in the fall of 2019 and will look to enhance the band's relationship with athletics, increase its membership, assist with attendance for sporting events, and encourage student enrollment. The marching band's office, practice areas, and equipment storage will all remain in the music building, and members will still be enrolled in a 1-credit music class.
If you're a student who is unsure of your future career, NIU may have a new program for you. Next year, the university will be offering 6 new academic undergraduate programs. These degrees span the realms of sport, technology, and health, 2 of which are online master's programs. All 6 will be offered in the fall of 2019.
One academic program that is a major addition to the university is a Bachelor of Science in Sport Management.
NTC's Victor Weye sat down with an assistant professor from the program to see more about the new addition.
Thank you. We're joined here with Dr. Claire Zavosic, the Assistant Professor of Sport Management. Thank you. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So basically our first question is, so tell us a little bit about why the introduction of a program like this is necessary or relevant at NIU.
Sure. So NIU is launching a full-blown undergraduate sport management program starting in fall 2019. And sort of why it's relevant, why we feel like it's worth adding a program like this. If you look at the sport management industry, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and I think over the past several decades, honestly, there's been a real push for seeing sport management as its own field, its own industry. It's unique enough to be considered its own field. And I think in line with that, there's an interest in having an undergraduate program to train students to be able to be marketable once they graduate to get jobs in the sport industry.
Right, for sure. So what generally goes into the introduction of a new degree program? I know obviously this is specific to sport management, but in general, what is the process that an educational system has to go into to introduce a new degree program?
Right. I think now there's been a big push to market this launch of this program, but really this is a process that's been going on for several years. So I think you're asking about sort of the approval process from an administrative standpoint. Initially, it starts pretty locally, so we're housed within the Department of Kinesiology and Physical Education. So first we go through sort of getting approval and support at that level, and then we work with getting support, from the Dean of the College of Education, and then that works its way up through the Provost, and then the President. But then simultaneously, you're also working eventually to get approval from the Illinois Board of Higher Education. So that was a process that the Illinois Board of Higher Education process sort of happened throughout the summer, and we finally got approval, and it's sort of prime time now to start recruiting students and telling people about how great this program is going to be once we sort of formally launch it in the fall of 2019.
So last question, what can students who pursue a degree like sport management, what can they expect to be ready for them in the work field once they leave their undergraduate career?
That's a great question. I think a lot of times when you talk about working in sport, there's sort of this idea of, I want to work for, I want to be the general manager of the Chicago Cubs, or I want to be the general manager for the Chicago Bulls or something like that. I think what's really important to talk to students about, to talk to prospective students about, is that really it's taking a passion that you have for maybe being an athlete in high school or really following sports growing up, to turning that into a profession, right? And it's more than just, hey, here's this dream job that I have, that's like, I want, there's so many people that want to be the general manager of the Cubs or what have you. But we're trying to offer classes, whether it's in sport finance, sport marketing, facilities and events, sport communication, sport law, sport ethics, that line into getting an entry-level position once you graduate in a sport organization, whether that's a pro team, a college team, a consulting firm, what have you.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate having us here. I hope a lot of students know what programs we have here on campus.
All right. Thank you.
So back to you guys at the desk.
Time now for a quick look at the weather.
Claudia Oleg joins us now with more on what we can expect for the rest of the week. Claudia?
Thanks, Martin. Well, it looks like we're going to have another weather system roll through our area this weekend. However, it's not going to be snow this time. I'll have more details right after the break.
When we come back, how the local food pantry is helping people in need.
And a look at some healthy food options around the holidays. NTC News will be right back.
President Donald Trump is reacting this morning to news that his former attorney Michael Cohen pled guilty to making false statements to Congress about the Russian investigation.
Trump called Cohen a weak person. This comes on the heels of other news involving the investigation.
Political Pit Stop reporter Evan Johnson has more on that.
President Donald Trump declined to rule out pardoning his former campaign chairman, Paul Manafort. This comes after Manafort violated his plea agreement and lied to special counsel Robert Mueller and his team regarding alleged Russian meddling in the 2016 presidential campaign. White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders says there has been no talks about a pardon. Trump then told the New York Post, "It was never discussed, but I wouldn't take it off the table." Nancy Pelosi will be the next House Speaker. Pelosi was nominated by House Democrats with a vote of 203 to 32. A small faction of Democrats had been attempting to stop Pelosi's run for Speaker, but in the end, it wasn't enough for them. But in 2016, when she tried to run in the House Democratic caucus, she lost 63. But in 2017, only 4 voted against her. The final floor vote to elect the Speaker doesn't come until January. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo may be doing damage control today after the fallout from a closed-door session with senators regarding the death of an American journalist in Saudi Arabia. During the briefing, it seems that Pompeo defended the Trump administration response to the murder of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Senators from both sides seemed furious, and hours after the session, the Senate voted to advance the resolution ending U.S. support for the Saudi-led war in Yemen. Senators reportedly changed their minds on the vote after hearing Pompeo. And that brings us to this week's segment of Dollars and Cents. The automotive giant General Motors recently announced that it plans to idle 5 factories in North America and cut jobs in an attempt to trim costs. The move will result in the layoff of almost 6,000 production workers in North America and 8,000 salaried staff. Some analysts say the retrenchment is a response to a slowdown in new car sales. GM CEO says that GM is taking these actions now while the company and the economy are strong. GM stock rose 4.8% to their highest closing price in months following the news. Microsoft briefly overtook Apple on Monday for the most valuable publicly traded company on the planet. The achievement was credited to Microsoft's cloud computing business, and Apple's stock dropped from concern over lower iPhone sales. This marks the first time since 2010 that Microsoft has had a higher market cap than Apple. Analysts speculate that Microsoft is currently on its way to becoming a $1 trillion company, a title that has only been temporarily held by Amazon and Apple. Black Friday did not fail to disappoint for retailers. MasterCard estimated sales on Black Friday reached $23 billion, soaring 9% from a year ago. Adobe Analytics predicted that Cyber Monday sales climbed $7.9 billion, with an outstanding 19% increase from last year. Analysts say that while retailers' biggest players experienced foot traffic during Black Friday, more have bought online or on their smartphones. And that's it for this week's segment. Now back to our crew at the desk.
Cable subscribers in DeKalb could soon be seeing an additional fee on their bills. At a recent meeting, DeKalb officials proposed a monthly fee of 35 cents per subscribers or $4.20 annually. The fee would go towards funding a public access programming such as civic proceedings on Channel 14 and would be levied via local cable providers. The fee aims to cover the $81,000 cost of operating the channel.
The time has come for NIU employees to complete the annual online ethics training program. The NIU training is mandated by state law for both full and part-time employees of the university. Employees have until noon tomorrow to complete the training or risk facing disciplinary action.
Finals week is right around the corner, and NIU is offering some resources to help students finish this semester strong. You can reserve a lab, set up a one-on-one tutoring sessions, and even de-stress with some furry friends at the library. Also, the rec is offering a free Fitness Friday. There are free group exercise classes this Friday featuring a core session.
Staying healthy during finals week is also going to be important for students.
NTC reporter Alex Arizari tells us there's a local business in DeKalb that is doing its part to make sure you have options that are not only good, but good for you.
At St. Mary's Parish in Sycamore, 3 people are working together to create a unique blend of meals that they hope will promote healthy eating. Healthy AF Nutrition started up in July when co-owners decided that they wanted to create plant-based meal prep plans.
You eliminate a lot of the meat that you have and have fresh, mostly locally grown food.
From rich and hearty dinners in the winter to fresh salads in the summer, they strive to use vegetables from farmers around DeKalb to help eliminate waste. One of the owners' goals was to be able to provide meals that people could not only enjoy but afford.
Eating healthy doesn't have to be difficult. A lot of people just kind of use that as an excuse to eat bad. Like, oh, I didn't have the time, so I went to a drive-thru and got McDonald's. Where we're trying to make it easy to eat healthy and make it affordable.
And healthy eating isn't the only thing they're trying to do. Using compostable boxes to place their food into are their first steps to going green. Their chef and co-owner, Adrian Lopez, hopes this will make things easier for those who don't have the time to prepare meals like these.
Always had a passion for cooking, and I've had a passion for nutrition as well. And I didn't ever have time to make my own good tasting meal prep. So once we got to doing it, we saw how time consuming, how laborious it was, and we're just like, this is ridiculous. Somebody needs to do this for people.
Healthy AF Nutrition plans to expand in the near future by taking their foods to local farmers markets and partnering up with restaurants. For NTC News, I'm Alex Arizari.
If you're interested in finding out how the food tastes, some of the meals are currently on the menu at Common Grounds.
Speaking of food options, there is one program that is giving back to NIU students who are less fortunate. NTC reporter Isai Sanchez tells us more about the Husky Food Pantry and what happens there.
Week after week, volunteers come to restock the Husky Food Pantry, an unselfish program with a simple mission.
Help students who are feeling food insecure and just provide them with nutritious food every week.
Connolly says the pantry was a response to help students lacking the food they need.
It's about, giving back and what you can do to help others, because you never know when you might need it yourself.
But what do students actually need to access the food pantry? Well, all they need is an NIU student ID card. Really, it's all about helping students focus on their education and not where the next meal comes from.
They're very thankful that we have the food pantry. It's really allowed them to focus on their studies, to stay in school.
The pantry, open Thursdays from 5:30 to 7:30, has all the basic food students need, from milk, eggs, and even meats. And it's all thanks to donations they received from the Illinois Food Bank and from a student group that held a donation drive. Husky lead volunteer Ayunan An quoted Ronald Reagan, who said this: "We can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone." And he believes that's exactly what he's doing at the Husky Food Pantry.
I see it as like a student helping another student. It's kind of like the idea of we're the student here and we all care about another student, and that's what a part of being an NIU student is, being an NIU Husky is.
For NTC News, I'm Isai Sanchez.
The Husky Food Pantry also offers winter gear through the winter clothing drive to help students stay warm.
Martin, I think it officially might be time to take those hats and gloves out for winter.
I think you're right, Crystal. Let's take an in-depth look on what we have to expect for the rest of the week.
Thanks, guys. Well, it looks like after the snow had fallen this past weekend, things have been pretty calm around here. If we take a look at what's going on temperature-wise, we can see a majority of our area is experiencing pretty cool conditions with these light blue colors indicating as we are around that 30-degree mark, and it's quite the opposite down south as we see very warm conditions indicated by that yellow-orange color, and even that dark blue outline we see right in the middle is associated with the low front the low pressure system that is going to bring precipitation tonight, and even the one behind it is going to bring even more precipitation into your weekend. If we take a look at a better image of what's going to happen tonight, we can see that the system off to our west indicated with this green indicating rain and that purple indicating frozen precipitation that even has a special weather statement issued for it. That freezing drizzle is going to cause very hazardous conditions into your evening. If you have any late night plans, you're going to want to be extra careful for those slick and slippery conditions out in the roads, and even into your morning commute, as it still might be a little slippery. If we take a look at the end of your week, it'll be a pretty dry end with cloudy skies. Your real threat of precipitation isn't until Friday night, and it's not going to be snow this time. Believe it or not, we're going to see thunderstorms almost in December. Your temperatures are going to reach 40 degrees there, and your low is going to drop to just 36, not even reaching freezing. That chance of precipitation is 100%, so you're definitely going to want to keep an extra umbrella on hand. Looks like the system doesn't want to give way. Sunday, those early rain showers are going to turn into snow into your late evening, as those temperatures do drop into the higher 20s at 28 degrees there. And looking into the beginning of your work week, we will see that system give way on Monday for partly cloudy skies and a high of 33 degrees. But looks like Tuesday and Wednesday, those temperatures continue to fall, with just a high of 27 on Tuesday and only 24 degrees on Wednesday. That's it for weather. Back to you.
After the break, we will show you how one NIU cheerleader overcame a life-threatening situation to continue her dream.
And the men's basketball team was in a shootout last night. Find out if the Huskies pulled out the win. We'll be right back.
You made her college years possible, opening that education savings account when she was little, spearheading campus tours, and deciphering financial aid. If you can ace planning for college, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org. You made your house a reality. Homeschooling yourself on loans, color-coding listings, and flushing every toilet in a 20-mile radius. If you can ace house hunting, you can do it for retirement. Get on track with tips at aceyourretirement.org.
Hey, look, it's those guys.
Get some drinks.
Are you good to drive?
I'm fine.
How many did you have?
I should be fine.
You should be.
Go and step out of the vehicle for me.
See ya, buddy. Good luck. So turns out, buzz driving and drunk driving, they're the same thing, and it costs around $10,000. So not worth it.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten.
40%. That's almost half the food we produce.
Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to savethefood.com.
You know, Crystal, I think it's time we take a look at this week's sports.
I think you're right, Martin. Let's see what Jamia Green has in store for us in the world of Husky athletics.
Hello and welcome to NTC Sports. There hasn't really been a lot going on with Husky athletics this week, but I'll catch you up on what has happened, starting with NIU football. The football team's offensive struggle continued last Tuesday, turning the ball over 3 times in their 28-21 loss to the Western Michigan Broncos. An 85-yard fumble recovery touchdown by junior defensive end Sutton Smith tied the game at 21 late in the third quarter. A late fourth quarter drive by the Broncos gave them the lead with just over a minute remaining. The Huskies couldn't respond as sophomore quarterback Marcus Childers threw his second interception on the opening play of their next drive. The Huskies fall to 7-5 overall. Smith's touchdown last week was just a small piece of another great performance by the All-American, and now he's being recognized for it. Smith was named the MAC Defensive Player of the Year for the second straight season, as well as the Vern Smith Leadership Award winner, an award given to the top player in the conference. The junior led the Huskies with 13 sacks and 21 tackles for loss. Smith was also named to the All-MAC first team along with fellow Husky senior offensive tackle Max Sharping and junior linebacker Antonio Jones-Davis. In their first home meet of the year, the wrestling team performed well in the Husky duels that welcomed Harper College, Clarion, and the 21st best team in the nation, Utah Valley. They won 2 of the 3 matches, with the loss coming from Utah Valley 21-14. The Huskies will travel to Bloomington, Indiana for a meeting with the Hoosiers. First match is Friday at 7 p.m. Despite junior guard Eugene German's career-high 33-point performance, the men's basketball team fell short to the Green Bay Phoenix. The Huskies trailed by 15 with several minutes left in the game. They went on a 22-9 run, but were unable to finish as they fell by just 2 points. The final score was 85-83. They are now 4-3 on the season. NIU will return home Wednesday, December 5th to take on UC Davis at 7 p.m. Crossing over to the women's side, the women's basketball team picked up their third win of the season with an 83-61 win over North Dakota State. Senior forward Courtney Woods led the way for the Huskies with 25 points, and senior guard Michaela Voigt added 17 more. The team improves to 3-2 ahead of their trip to Montana for the Lady Grizz Classic, playing a Saturday and Sunday doubleheader. The NIU cheer team is gearing to start their competitive season. Last year, the team took second place out of 17 teams at the NCAA Nationals in Daytona Beach. With new talent and several returners, they hope to take the top spot this year. Being 2 points under first place winner Southern Methodist University, the team is looking to push their way to the top this season. Speaking of cheerleading, one cheerleader is excited to be bringing her talents to the team, but the road to get here wasn't an easy one. I was able to catch up with the freshman to see what struggles she faced.
At one point, freshman cheerleader Marissa Ticer thought she was never going to cheer again. What she thought was an ordinary sore throat turned out to be an immobilizing, life-threatening neck abscess. While Ticer was in the hospital, nervous for her life and surgery, she never stopped thinking about what was most important to her, cheerleading.
All I wanted was to go to compete, and my coach was like, "You're crazy for doing that," but I still wanted to be there for them because cheer is like everything to me.
Although Ticer faced these life-changing events, her new teammates and coaches couldn't tell by her performance. Her now head coach Aubrey Gaglione says she had no idea.
I was like blown away because it wasn't long before that she was in the hospital and struggling, and she didn't know if she would ever cheer again. So the fact that she came and made a collegiate team is a huge deal. But yeah, I had no idea.
Her drive and dedication pushed her to keep doing what she loves.
I still tried to work on my stuff, and I came to NIU and I tried out, and I'm really thankful to still be here today.
Ticer continues to be her best every day while keeping a smile on her face.
The cheer team is encouraged by Ticer's experience and continue to help each other improve each practice. That will be it for NTC Sports, and as always, go Huskies. Let's send it back to the desk.
One thing students can expect when the Home Student Center renovations are completed next fall is arcade machines in the new Husky Den. The machines will be leased to the university by the owner of Star Worlds Arcade in DeKalb. The games will include everything from pinball to Dance Dance Revolution. Star Worlds is on Lincoln Highway and houses more than 4 dozen games.
You know, it's been years since I've been to an arcade, and I've got to admit, I kind of miss that classic feeling.
Yeah, Martin, I think it's awesome that we have one here on campus for students to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, and I'm definitely going to check it out on my free time.
I'll be right there with you.
NTC News is produced and written by students here at Northern Illinois University.
We want to thank you all for being with us. Have a great rest of your week, Huskies.